So the injury I suffered was in 2009. I was training for an Ironman triathlon, and I was on a bike ride with about 10 of my friends, and I was hit by a hit-and-run driver, just rear-ended. He was doing about 60 miles an hour and drove right through me. I had a burst fracture and several dislocations in my spine, and that's how I became a paraplegic. For anybody who suffers a life-changing event, whether that's a spinal cord injury or, maybe an amputation, lots of things get thrown at us in life that we don't expect, and it puts us in this incredibly vulnerable spot where we don't know what we're going to do with our life anymore. And realizing the situation you're in and accepting that is a huge part of the moving forward process. Once you're kind of getting back to the daily routine where you're like, okay, I can manage this now, start looking for opportunities to thrive, right? Instead of just surviving. Originally I didn't want to compete, but getting involved in sports, just getting back on a hand cycle was a big step in me recovering wholly. Basically, I started shooting archery. I was volunteering at a hospital in Denver, Colorado called Craig Hospital, which is a spinal cord rehab facility. And, it's just mentoring patients, showing them, how to get on with life after they suffered a spinal cord injury. And one of the other volunteers invited me to a local range to go shoot some archery. And I loved it, I wasn't that awesome. It wasn't like success at first arrow, but I just had a lot of fun and just kind of got involved with the archery community, started hanging out, eventually found a coach to work with and set some big goals, and he didn't lie to me. He told me how much work it would take, and I'd put in that work and was able to accomplish, one of my many goals in archery of Paralympic gold medal. So in archery, you have a decent amount of equipment. You have your bow, and normally when you're traveling to international competitions, you'll have 2 complete bow setups. You have, all your arrows, your spotting scope, a tripod. The most important thing, if you're traveling internationally or even nationally or even across the state, is you want your equipment to show up and be able to function. So SKB is pretty renowned for having cases that protect what you put in them. Being able to trust that when I check in my bow, as long as it gets on that plane, I know I'm gonna have a bow that I can shoot. I don't have to worry about, I hope they don't drop it, or I hope, they don't throw another case on it and they crack one of my limbs. I know that bow is protected as it possibly can be. They could run the thing over with a forklift and I'd still think it's gonna be fine. Putting my bow in an SKB case there's no question. I want my bow to work, and so I'm putting it in the best. The first time I got an SKB case was when I was traveling to my first big tournament, which was the trials for World Championships. At that point, I hadn't got on an airplane with a bow before. At that point, I asked my coach, I'm like, what case do I get? And he was like, get an SKB. It was no questions. So I ordered my case, it showed up, and I was just blown away by the high quality of stuff, how well it's sealed. You kind of look at it in the catalog and you're like, yeah, it's a nice case. But then when it shows up and you're able to see the detail, there's no molding, remnants and stuff. Everything's smooth, everything's nice and polished. Everything is down to the detail, the way it's supposed to be, so it performs the best. I'm glad I got this first, because I didn't have to buy a cheap case and then 6 months later be disappointed and have to reinvest in an SKB. I went straight for the best out of the get-go. It feels amazing to be able to have that communication with SKB and building that relationship. Even coming out here, they're going to build me a case for my gold medal, which is phenomenal.
I wanted to present you with a brand new case.
Oh, awesome.
And we've got the nice, beautiful hot stamp on the outside and custom interior for you as well. So just want to say thank you for our partnership and congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that so much.
You're very welcome.
It's awesome.
SKB teamed up with Think Tank to design cases for photographers and videographers. Now you can get Think Tank's soft case versatility with the unparalleled durability of SKB's watertight cases. Visit your local Samys camera location or go online to samys.com to purchase an SKB case for superior gear protection.